Hello, my name is Dr. Paul Cottrell, and I'm recording this on 8/2/2026. The markets will be opening up tomorrow for the United States, and I want to go over the updates of different markets and also give you my perspective on what's going on with the tech sell-off and oil. We're going to go over a video clip about oil by Bloomberg. But before we do that, I want to just review some of the products that I have on my website, the-studio-reykjavik.com. Now, on my website, you can go under broadcast and watch my live stream under broadcast live. You can listen to the audio archives of some of my shows, and under paper, some generated news. You can also purchase ebooks. I have books about the economy, about science, about artificial intelligence. And you can also sign up for classes under pulmonology and immunology. Only for $25, you get a lot of material. You get videos and PDF files. You'll get a unique password. You log in under classes based on the module you purchase, and you can learn about pulmonology and immunology at your own pace. Now, another great feature that I have is under medicine, you can look at some PDF files that are pertinent to some of the things that have happened in the news and some unique features of some studies that I think are important to follow. On the homepage, you can help support the work that I do by donating through Stripe, PayPal, or Buy Me a Coffee. All these videos are for free, so please help support the work that I do by donating. Again, you can donate, just click the donate button. And by clicking that donate button, you can help support the work that I do. Now, for the supplements, you can get the structural nanosilver toothpaste. This whitens your teeth, freshens your breath, reduces inflammation. Max 35 helps to boost up that innate immune system. Take a teaspoon a day, swish in your mouth, gargle, about 20 seconds or so, and you can swallow it. Now, you can do the same thing to cleanse, just teaspoon a day, every day. I've been doing this protocol for 6 years. Structural nanosilver gel, you can get it in the tube form or in the Renew quick dispenser. And you use them the same way. They're dual purpose. You can heal a wound quicker. You can use it as a daily skincare, and you can use it to help mitigate during the allergy season or the cold season. Just put them on your hands and lightly coat your nostrils. It stays active for 5.5 hours. Manuka honey lozenges and orange splash fortified with vitamin C lozenges, perfect for the allergy season, the cold season. The probiotics that I have, this one is the Veggie Cap version. This will help to improve your gut biome, bring down inflammation at the gut level, allow you to absorb your nutrients. And with a good gut health, you're improving your skin and also improving brain function and your cellular metabolism. C60, very potent antioxidant. You can get it in extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or MCT coconut oil. You can get it in a 2 ounce, a 4 ounce, or an 8 ounce configuration. It is cheaper per ounce to get the higher ounce configuration. Take a teaspoon a day every day, preferably on an empty stomach. What C60 does is absorbs those free radicals and helps to bring down stress and inflammation within the tissues and within the cell. The cells will perform better, your tissues will perform better. It'll help to boost up your immune system, your endocrine system, help to reduce plaque formation at the vascular level, and also help improve the health of your neurons. So you'll be thinking more clearly, your memory will improve, and you'll be able to also have just much more energy by soaking up those free radicals and boosting up the health of the mitochondria. Take a teaspoon a day every day. I've been doing this protocol for over 10 years. Vitamin D3, very important to help with gene expression. It's a gene expression cofactor. Vitamin D3 also helps to build bone density, and it helps to boost up that immune system. Vitamin C and magnesium helps with the immune system, brain function, and skin health. Omega-3 helps to bring down inflammation and helps to control your lipid profile. Ashwagandha root helps to control your cortisol levels and your blood glucose levels. Good Night Formula has tryptophan, melatonin, GABA, and passion flower to allow you to get into 3 to 5 cycles of REM sleep and deep sleep. So you're consolidating memory, detoxifying your central nervous system, and you'll be well rested. By getting good sleep, you're slowing down the aging process. Another type of probiotic that I have is the powdered version. The previous one I talked about was the VeggieCap version. Resveratrol helps with youthful gene expression. It also helps to soak up free radicals. It helps to boost up the health of the mitochondria so you have more energy. It also helps to get rid of cells that are in senescence. Resveratrol stacks really well with C60 to help the basal layer for your skin. Vitamin B complex helps with cellular metabolism, protects neurons, and helps to boost up energy levels. It's very important to take vitamin B complex if you're 40 years of age or older. Turmeric soaks up free radicals and brings down inflammation. It's really important for your immune system and your endocrine system, also your cardiovascular system and brain function. Magnesium and zinc helps with the immune system and brain function. Lignans helps with the immune system and endocrine system. Collagen, that will help with your skin, nails, and hair, your musculature, your bone density. Digestive enzyme complex helps to break up carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids and reduce the load on your pancreas. By taking digestive enzyme complex, you're digesting easier and you're going to be able to absorb your nutrients more efficiently. Clarity factor helps to get rid of brain fog, allows you to concentrate, and over time, you're going to improve that positive neuroplasticity so you're thinking faster and have better memory. So to improve your brain function, take clarity factor. Olive leaf extract helps to bring down inflammation and helps to control your lipid profile. So by doing that, you're improving your immune system and your cardiovascular system. Zeolite helps to bind to heavy metals, toxins, and chemicals and allows you to urinate them out within 6 to 8 hours. Zeolite, you take 3 small drops underneath your tongue, drink the filtered water, do that daily. Myotrol helps to build muscle. It has polyphenols, flavonoids, and lignans to help with the gene expression to build muscle. You can use this if you're 40 years of age or older. This will help with the gene expression to build muscle. Do a little bit of resistance training. Now, if you're an athlete, younger or older, you'll also benefit from Myotrol to build muscle. Boomer Boost has the ingredients that you need. You can use this as your multivitamin. It has the vitamins and the minerals that you need on a regular basis, but it also has a lot of other supplements to help to slow down the aging process. So you can see on the screen here the 68 nutrients, and it helps with cardiovascular health, builds muscle, helps with cellular regeneration, helps with brain function, and slows down the aging process, boosts up your metabolism, and you're going to have a steady burn of energy. It's a great way to get healthy, taking the Boomer Boost. Gladiator barley and heirloom barley, they help to detoxify your body, bring down inflammation, and soak up free radicals. So that's going to help your immune system and your endocrine system, your cardiovascular system, and brain function. Now, you get one added benefit with the Gladiator barley, and that is it will help to build muscle. You can stack Gladiator barley or heirloom barley with the Boomer Boost for added benefit to help control your A1C levels. And Gladiator barley stacks really well with Myotrol to build muscle. Collagen is a great supplement to help to remodel your joints if you have arthritis or a sports injury. It helps to block the MMP3 and MP13. That blocks the erosion of the joint. And EP4 blocks inflammation of the joint. It'll also block your pain channel gatekeeper NAV 1.7. And by taking collagen, you're able to remodel the joint and cushioning of the joint. And over time, you'll be able to improve that arthritic joint or sports injury. Now, for temporary relief, take the Super Strong Relief. This is a topical and it works within about 90 seconds or so. It's for bruised areas, pulled muscles, arthritis, tension headaches, sprains, and works very quickly. And I also have anti-aging boxes and longevity boxes. Now, with an anti-aging box or a longevity box, you get curated products that will help to slow down the aging process. Like, for example, the anti-aging advanced box, you get the Max 35, C60 of your choice, vitamin D3, vitamin C and magnesium, the toothpaste, and the probiotic at a reasonable price to allow you to get on the journey to slow down aging. And I also have these longevity boxes. For example, the Longevity Boost box. This Longevity Boost box, you get the Boomer Boost and your choice of Gladiator barley or heirloom barley. And by getting the Longevity Boost box, it's cheaper than buying the Boomer Boost and the barley separately. So it's a great way to save money, but also to move on your anti-aging journey. So with that, please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com. Help support the work that I do. Again, all these videos for free. You can donate on Stripe, PayPal, or buy me a coffee. Just click the links and help support the work that I do. And go to the store and pick the great supplements that I offer. These are supplements that I use every day to help slow down the aging process. Now, with that, I want to show you the charts that we're going to go over today. Okay. Now, these charts here, the first chart is SPY, which is the ETF for the S&P 500. Now, you can see here that on Friday, we closed at 747 or 7,470. And we have a resistance level at 760. And we have roughly a support level at 720. Now, if we get positive news from the war in the Middle East, we will probably hit 750 and potentially move up to 760. Now, I have a target for the S&P 500 at 7,600 to 7,800 by year end. That equates to, for SPY, to 760 to 780. I used to have a target of 780 to 800 for SPY by year end, but I'm a little bit concerned about what's going on with the Federal Reserve potentially raising rates and the incompletion of what is going on in the Middle East and the sell-off that's happening in tech. So I once you hit around 760 to 780 for SPY, you may want to start moving some of your positions into cash just to wait it out, just in case we get a downdraft in the market and you can benefit from that downdraft. But there is a consolidation. You can kind of see that there was a consolidation that was happening and then a sell-off. Well, the sell-off was definitely because of the war. But the I don't like this pattern here. It could continue to go up, but it may go down. So let's talk about some of the trading ranges here. So we're just under 750 for SPY. So you have a resistance level of 760, and I have that year-end target at about 780. So those are resistance levels. Support levels are 720, 700, and 691. There's a very strong support level at 691 because it's part of the fib sequence, and that's 23% retracement. So just keep that in mind. Support levels at 720, 700, and 691. So if it does do a downdraft, then what you can do is buy in because those are, relatively decent support levels. But I am concerned that once we get to about 780, that the market may be a little too rich, especially during a midterm election. Oil, WTI. All right. A lot of volatility because of what's happening in the Middle East. On Friday, it looked like Trump was going to hit Iran, and then just recently, news came out that he was going to try to do some peace agreement. So we had a close for WTI at 86.80. I suspect that it'll be down because of the news, unless we end up striking in tonight or Monday. So there's still this trading range is still holding. I mentioned that there would be a trading range between 79 to about 87 trading range because of the fib sequences. And that does seem to be holding here. Now, if we have positive news from the Middle East, it'll move closer to 79. If we have negative news from the Middle East and war continues, we'll break the 87.23 barrier, and a new trading range would most likely be tested of 87 to 94. So short term, there's a resistance level at 87. There's a support level at 79. If the 87 breaks, then you're going to have a short-term resistance level at 90. It might bounce down a little bit. And if that 90 breaks, then most likely we'll be testing the 94. But in the near term, most likely Monday, oil will be down to about 84, maybe 83. Natural gas, there's two charts here. You have the line chart, which is the S&P 500. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it. The line chart is cold, which is the ETF to short natural gas, and the candles here, the candle chart, are the natural gas futures. Okay, so cold is the solid, the candlesticks are the future price for natural gas, and they're inversely related because cold shorts natural gas. Now let's take a look at this natural dynamic here. Well, it wanted to start selling off because it's in the summer. Natural gas usually sells off in the summer. That's what happened last year. It started selling off in the summer and then started creeping back up in the fall and the winter. So it's supposed to in the August to sell off. So the natural dynamic is that for it to sell off, it's probably, or it should break 2.5, maybe even test this 2.495 range and maybe trade around 2.4. So there probably will be a trading range between 2.7 to 2.4 if we were in normal times. But we're not in normal times because of what's happening in the Middle East. And this little creep up here is based on the war in the Middle East. It's just pressure of just trading, the trading momentum, not really that much in the dynamics of the actual commodity. But if we start seeing a little bit of peace happening in the Middle East, we should see this approach 2.5. So shorting it because it's in the summer, it's probably a good idea versus longing it. There's more chance of it going to 2.5 than it is to 3. But if something really radically happens in the Middle East where LNG facilities or gas facilities are hit or oil facilities are hit by the Iranians in the GCC area, we might see natural gas hit above 3, but I doubt that's going to happen. So I'm shorting natural gas, and I think the trading range is anywhere from 2.8 to 2.5. And right now, cold as a leveraged ETF is trading at 29.34. So if natural gas starts to trend down, we should see this break 30 and start trading maybe at 31, 32 range. All right, this is TYD. TYD has two charts also. This one has the S&P 500 as the solid line, and the candlestick price curve is the leveraged ETF for longing bonds that are at the belly of the curve, the 7 to 10 year treasury. Now, yields have been going up, and when yields go up for bonds, especially the 10 year, prices go down. So this ETF is going down because remember, this ETF is based on price of the bond and it's longing bonds. So if yields go up, this goes down. And part of the reason why these last four candles or so have been going down is that the Federal Reserve is seeming a little bit more hawkish because of inflation. So they're not going to be, they're not, they're, it doesn't look like they're, it doesn't look like inflation is going to be stable anytime soon. And there's over indebtedness by the governments. So bond yields keep on going up, and therefore these bonds are going down. So it's relatively bearish for the bond market at the moment. Now, another thing that is happening is that once in a while you'll start to see correlation, and sometimes these correlations break down. The way textbook correlation would be that bonds go up in price, equities go down in price. So they should be inversely related. Now, if you take a look at this correlation curve, above the zero line is positively correlated, where one goes up, the other one goes up, and negatively correlated, where one goes up, the other one goes down. And recently, for this year, there's been more of a time where it was positively correlated than negatively correlated. So that correlation is somewhat breaking down. That textbook correlation is breaking down. But I think that what's going to happen here is that treasuries are going to break and, break the support level of 22.36 and start marching to 22 for this ETF, leveraged ETF. I am not bullish on treasuries, treasury price. So shorting treasuries may be better, not longing. TYD is to long treasuries. Now, this chart gives it in the form of yields, the 30-year yield and the 10-year yield. And you can see here we have 4.68, which is way too high for the 10-year. and 5.21, way too high for the 30-year. That means that credit cards are more expensive, mortgages are more expensive. The Federal Reserve has stayed flat, and we are probably going to see higher rates from the Federal Reserve. Now, how's that going to affect? Now, there's two schools of thought. One is that the Federal Reserve raised rates and it tries to control inflation, and therefore, in the long run, yields should go down. But what's going to probably happen is as the rates start to creep up from the Federal Reserve, we're probably going to see the yield curve start to move upward also. And so it's very possible that we see a 5.5 for the 30-year and a 5 handle for the 10-year yield. Now, the VIX has been relatively stable. It's been trading at just below 16, 15.99. Stress was creeping up, went just above 20, and then came back down. I suspect that we're gonna maybe be trading at the 16, 17 range for a little bit, maybe midweek, and then something happens in the Middle East and spike up again. When this spikes up, usually there's a sell-off in the market. So with this low volatility, you should see SPY trade slightly upward and approach the 760 mark. Okay. Now this is an ETF that's leveraged that is shorting the semiconductors. And this chart here is a semiconductor longing. Now, these ETFs you can't be in for very long, just a few days because of volatility decay. So it's not for investing, it's only for trading. But you can see that during the week when there was that tech sell-off, you could see that these candles were coming up and then coming back down. There was a little bit of a relief rally near the end, especially on Friday. So SSG is to short the semiconductors. Now, if you've been paying attention to me, I've been saying that there is this AI bubble and it's going to affect NVIDIA, the tech sector, and the semiconductors. You can see here that, we were at the 12 handle and went above the 15 handle. I think it was trading at 16 or so and then came back down. And now it's trading at 1385. So there's a nice little play here that by, having, a few hundred shares or several hundred shares, you could, get a decent profit here with this. But again, it is a trading ETF, not an investment ETF. So if you want to short the semiconductors in a very short amount of time, in a very tight space, then you want to use SSG. Now, what do I think? As we see additional pressure in tech because of the AI bubble, we should see this start trading, more at the 16, 17 range. So I see about a $3 increase maybe in this ETF, but you have to look at it very closely, very closely. It's an in and out play. Now, if you want to long the semiconductors, then you want to use this USD, which is the Ultra Semiconductor Short, Ultra Semiconductor Long ETF by ProShares. So to long it, you want to use USD. To short, you want to use SSG. Now, if you want to long that semiconductor industry, then what you have here, this is very emblematic of a lot of the tech companies, a lot of this, just the overall industry, because of the AI deflating of the bubble. It peaked in about beginning of June and started to go down since. It did have some relief rallies, but each rally, the peak of that relief, it is lower than the previous peak. So this is channeling down. So right now we have most likely a trading range anywhere from 70.72 to 79.23, I think it's 43. And right now we're trading at 78.69. So if we're going to hear some negative news about tech, this is going to go down and it's going to go closer to 75 or 70 range. If we hear positive news, then this is most likely going to test that 79.43 and then test 85. So those are the different charts that I have for you. And I want to play this video dealing with the oil market.
Up again here. We got WTI crude oil at 85 bucks. My question is, why isn't it even higher, like a lot higher? Because there is no crude getting through the Strait of Hormuz. I'm not sure that thing's ever going to be opened up again like it was before. So let's check in with an expert here. Rob Barnett, the best hair on global Wall Street. He's also a senior energy and commodities analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence. Rob, why isn't oil higher? Because, boy, I just don't see, again, any oil getting through the Strait of Hormuz, maybe ever again. I don't know. The Red Sea, I don't know about that either. What's your take here?
Well, so the really bullish predictions have turned out to be wrong, and I think the market has proven to be much more resilient than folks anticipated at the start of the conflict. And in many ways, I would characterize this as a story about how the economy is much less dependent on oil today than it was during the big shocks in the 70s, right? So oil contribution to GDP tends to get lower and lower every year. And so what you're seeing is that perhaps the world can adjust and live with less oil. It seems to be that's the narrative. But, when I look at the price trajectory over the last month, we started at 70, we hit over 100, now we're closing out the month at 90 for Brent. And really it all comes down to geopolitics. You can kick out your supply demand models, you can everything that you might think about in a economics 101 context, none of it matters. It just matters, are we at war? Are we not at war? Is the strait open? Is it not open? Does the Red Sea matter? These are the questions that are really driving the market.
So things like OPEC, OPEC plus, different countries' strategic oil reserves, those don't matter at all?
I think, look, in equilibrium, all of those things matter, right? So if you have a coherent view of the oil market, you certainly are thinking about what's going on with inventories. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve in the U.S. is at lowest point in decades right now. Normally, that would be a very bullish indicator for prices, right? And so, to Paul's point, why haven't prices gone higher? I think there's the market is reconciling a couple of things. One is that, the physical market's very tight today. We don't have enough oil to go around. But there seems to be this sense, well, if everything gets resolved in some way and we get normalization in the Middle East generally, then we end up just flipping to an oversupplied situation in say 2027. And so you've got very tight physical market. Everything is sort of screaming red alarm fire right now at the current moment. But if we get a peace deal, if we get normalization, then we're going to be swimming in oil in 12 months. And so just I guess $90 is the reflection of those two very different kinds of signals.
If I'm Lloyd's of London or some insurer that's got to insure these big boats that get the energy in and out, there's no way I'm doing that. I'm not going to insure anything. I don't care what Iran says. Is that a downside scenario? Is that a realistic scenario? I'm kind of asking, is the strait ever going to be open again?
It's a great question. And certainly we've been thinking about that, right? I mean, one of the perhaps enduring outcomes of this conflict, no matter whether we get a peace deal next week after, years into the future, right? There's going to be lingering questions about insurance. Already, any operator that's going to take a vessel into that region is going to be charging much higher rates for operating there. I think what you might see emerge is that some of the countries in the region might have to offer some kind of sovereign backstop on shipping through the region. So you raised the question around Lloyd's, but what if Saudi Arabia, UAE, these countries have deep pockets? Maybe they have to back the shipping in ways that they hadn't had to do in the past.
Rob, really appreciate your perspective here. Rob Barnett, he is our senior energy and commodities analyst on oil. Next hour, we're going
All right, so we went over the charts for the different asset classes, my perspective on how the trading will be for the week. And we went over an analyst from Bloomberg talking about the potential glut. Now, please help support the work that I do by making sure you subscribe to all the channels and help support the work that I do by sharing the links, asking your social media to follow me. You can follow me on TikTok, Substack, YouTube, Brighteon, Bitchute, and Rumble, X, and GETTR. And you can be a paid member to my Patreon channel. So please help support the work that I do. All these videos for free. And if you pay attention to what I've been saying, you'll be able to slow down the aging process and get healthy. These are supplements that I take every day. And you'll be able to navigate some of the tumultuous times financially that is happening. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.